You're live. That's what it says on the screen when you go live. Welcome to, that fatherhood stuff. You got a kid, you're raising this kid, and this is more along the lines of teaching your kids a valuable lesson real early so as they age and go through the process of failing, it's not such a big deal to them. And especially when they're little kids, like using your kids, they do something, they fail at it, and it's just a tantrum. Like and you get to the point where you are avoiding certain activities because you know they're not going to get it right. They're going to fail, and it's going to be a tantrum, and you don't want to be a part of that noise. So you do whatever you can to really like manufacture an excuse not to do it. For instance, your girl wants to play or wants to ride a bike, or your boy, your little human wants to ride a bike, but you know full well like that's not happening. They can barely reach the pedals, so they throw a tantrum every time. And you unfortunately understand like what's going on, and they don't. So there's that disconnect in which they want to do something, they can't do it, and because they can't do it, they feel like they failed. They get frustrated. They don't know how to handle that frustration, so they express it by just throwing a tantrum, crying, throwing things. Sometimes I've seen it where in earlier stages of life, Demi used to like get so frustrated with something when she failed, she didn't know how to handle it, so she would just like do like this and then like that. She doesn't do it anymore. um, I'm not sure she grew out of it or she just learned how to deal with failure and frustration. I'm not sure, but here's what I did. All right. Um, I love sports. I understand that my daughters can't play football. I'm cool with that, but they can't play football, and I'm cool with that. I'm in the Pacific Northwest, baby, where female soccer is pretty huge. Soccer in general is a big thing in the Pacific Northwest, be it Portland or Seattle, in the surrounding areas of those two major cities. And I've always dreamed at some point my daughters would get into, wearing cleats and kicking that ball around. But being in Virginia at the time, while they were young, growing up, Demi was right around 2, got her soccer ball. She would kick it and was overjoyed. But sometimes as I'm rolling her the ball, she would miss and absolutely just throw air haymakers. You know what I'm saying? Like doing all this, all mad, frustration, didn't know how to handle it. So what I ended up doing is I ended up playing with her and having her toss me the ball, and I would miss on purpose, or I would kick the ball in a funny way that it just didn't make sense. It looked like failure, but I would just like pump myself up, like, oh, I got it next time. It's okay. I got it. And what ended up happening is like through the course of us doing that, like it did take time, but I can't say it took like a week. It literally took like that one session where she was kicking the ball. She would miss sometimes or kicking in the wrong direction. Not like in the wrong direction because it always went forward, but like it went far left or far right. And because I did it a few times and I was like, oh, it's okay. I got it. I'll do better next time. That's what she ended up doing it. I wanted to solidify this hand-eye coordination. So getting a ball, tossing it back and forth, no hand-eye coordination when you're young. Oh, my glasses jacked up, bro. Bro, that looks weird. Yeah, so tossing her the ball, she was missing it. She's just a little person, like she doesn't have that hand-eye coordination at the age of like 2.5. And what ended up happening is it would hit her hands, the ball would drop, and she would just throw that fit and do one of these. So what ended up happening is me and her would play catch. I would have her throw me the ball, and I would miss on purpose. I would drop it. It would hit my hands and fall right out. Like Butterfingers. You know what I'm saying? Like it would hit, fall out, and I would just tell myself the same exact thing. Hey, it's okay. It's okay. Failing's not bad as long as I can keep going. I can pick it up. I got this. It's not a big deal. And she started doing the same thing, because little people will mimic their fathers or their mothers. They mimic the older person in the room. And that's what she started doing with me. She started, vibing whatever I was putting down. So she would miss, and she goes, I got it. It's okay. I'll do better next time. And she would toss me the ball. from that point on, like that is the roller coaster that we were riding on, and it's been a pretty good ride. I think what I learned at that time is you got to teach your little peoples early on failure. So as they grow up and they start maturing and understanding a little bit more what's going on, they have already constructed that foundation in which they understand like this is how it is. This is if you keep doing it at a certain percentage or a certain amount of times, like failure is destined to happen. And when you fail, you got to be able to get back up, dust yourself off, and do it again. And it's okay to fail. It's okay to try new things and be uncomfortable. And that's the thing that my daughter is on now is like she understands that even though it's tough, I'll give her some encouragement, and that plays a role too. You got to be able to encourage even in failure. You can't get frustrated. You cannot show frustration if they don't get it. Sometimes they just don't get it. They don't understand it, and that's fine too because they're young. Like you lived a whole ass life. You know what I'm saying? Like you lived a whole ass life. They're still trying to figure out how to like wipe their own butts. You know what I'm saying? So in that sense, like when they fail at something, you can't fly off the handle. Absolutely, no matter what is going on, you cannot fly off the handle. There's times when Tyson, my youngest, she is almost two. She's like one and some change. She might not eat the food I give her. She'll take the plate, throw it on the ground. I want to just like yell at her. I'm not going to yell at her, but I want to yell like, yo, whoa, yo, what's going on? I'm just like, okay, let's not do that again. I'll pick it right back up. I understand she don't want that plate now. I'll put it somewhere else and I'll take her off her high chair, put her on the ground and let her do her thing. But I don't be freaking out. At this point in my life, I expect them to do that. Like that's your role. Your role is to find my stress rubber band and just stress the shit out of it. Stretch that stress rubber band out till it pops. And sometimes it pops. And when it pops, you got to know how to handle it too, because they're also teaching you something called patience. So both sides are learning something new. You're learning patience and they're learning life. So as a father out there and you watch this and you're thinking like, man, why can't my son or daughter get right? Why can't they figure this out? And if they're young, you know what I'm saying? Like they 2 years old, they three, they're four, they're five. You got to give them some space. You got to give them that opportunity to fail. And then, you know what? You can look like a hero too, because in failure, you can teach them how to get right. You can teach them what it looks like. You can teach them how to fail just like I did. It's okay to drop the ball sometimes. It's okay as long as I'm willing to pick it back up and do it again. Um, so that's all I want to talk about. Like I did teach my girl. I say girl because Tyson ain't there yet, but she'll learn. I taught Demi like in failure, it's all good, baby. It's all good. This is what happens sometimes. It's not a bad gig. Alyssa's on that wave too, like the whole family is on that wave where, failure is just another day. I got my daughter. She says it's whatever. It happens. That's her new gig, man. Because I be saying that shit all the time. When Tyson throws something or Demi like spills something, I'm like, well, it's whatever. It happens. And I just pick that thing up. I wash it, do whatever I got to do to clean it back up. That's something that to me, as long as I keep showing up, they're gonna keep showing out, and I like that. I like that vibe. So for you parents out there, again, you're watching this and you're trying to figure out like maybe this man has the magic solution. I think like the biggest thing you can do is set yourself up for success by showing them how to fail. And if you could teach them the right way to fail, what it looks like when you're able to dust yourself off, learn from the mistakes, you can give them confidence that they never had before. And you'll give them the confidence to want to try some new things. You'll give them the confidence that they will want to be around you and be around people. I mean, that's a gift in itself. So, anyways, that's, fatherhood one on one. If you were watching this, I dig it. Share if you vibing with this, you can share it or do whatever it is y'all do. Deuces. Boop, 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 beep, bop.